Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button before we actually get into the video. If you are an old subscriber of mine and you've been here before, then welcome back. Just keep on watching. If you guys have any questions at all during this video, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Without further ado, let's just go ahead and get straight into the video. And I did not record what's it called? I didn't record the process of me crimping my brush. This is, sorry you guys, I literally just hit the ring light. I apologize about that, but I wanted to record this video on how to crimp your brush. Now, I did not record this part just because I was a little scared on how my brush would come out. I didn't know if it would mess it up or anything like that. I want to say really quick that I actually got this inspiration from a YouTube nail tech, and her video is probably like a year old. I'll see if I can find it, and I'll see if I can link it in the description box below for you guys. That way you can go watch on, see how she crimped her brush. It's literally the same process of what I did, but it does help, especially if, say you order a brush off of Amazon and your brush doesn't already come crimped. You can do it at home and, not have to worry about, your brush being too narrow or anything like that. The reason for me crimping my brush is because when I first got this, which I got this off of Amazon, you guys, it is by Pana. I believe that's how you say it. It's by Pana. This is a really good beginner's brush. I will highly, highly, highly recommend this brush. Let me just show you guys what I was using previous to time when I first started out doing nails. So when I first started out doing nails, I got a size 8 brush. This is also from Amazon. You can find all of these brushes on Amazon. Just type in acrylic nail brushes, and tons of different brushes and styles and brands will pop up for you to choose from. But yeah, so I started out using a size 8, you guys. So here's what it came in. I mean, obviously this tube and everything is destroyed, but I always like to keep my brushes kind of just in, their same, what is it called? Their same box or whatever. Not box, but you guys know what I mean. Whatever they came in, I always like to keep them like in there just because I feel like sometimes they can get messed up or ruined. So yeah, so anyways, this is a size 8. As you guys can see, the bristles on here are very little. It's not too, like the brush isn't too thick at all. It's really kind of thin compared to this size 10. So let me put these together for you guys. That way you can see the difference. So you can already see the difference in the sizing of the brushes, of the bristles, how thick it is, how thick the brushes are. And you can see already that this one is going to pick up way more acrylic than what this size 8 is going to pick up. So when I originally, before I got this brush right here, I was using in between, sorry you guys, the size 8, which was the very, very first brush I ever picked up when I first started doing nails. Kind of when I got a little bit more serious on doing nails. So that's the brush that I actually got just because I wanted to start small. I honestly didn't really know on what brush would work better for me, you guys. So I actually I got like an 8. I got a size 10 right here is what you can see. This is the 8, this is the 10, and then I also got a size 9. Here is the size 9. They're literally the same brush, like the one with the clear handle, and I got this off of Amazon as well. Now the bristles on this, the brush hairs are a little bit more thicker, as you guys can see. Not too thick like my size 10, but they are a little bit thicker than what the size 8 was. So as you guys can see the difference in the sizes. The handles are still the same, but yeah, so here is the size 8 and here is the size 9. Let me just say, with the size 9, you guys, I mean, I don't really see too many videos or hear about too many nail techs using a size 9. Most of the videos that I see, that I come across, normally nail techs, beginner and experienced nail techs, use between a size 10 and a size 12. Especially, like I said, if you're still starting off, if you're still kind of struggling with applying beads. For most videos that I have watched, most nail techs that I watch do use the size 10 or the size 12, in which I highly recommend that you use a size 10 or 12, whichever is your preference. The size 10 works extremely well for me. I noticed a huge difference, especially in like the time frame that I apply that I do like nail sets, full sets. Let me say, when I first started, it was taking me with this size 8 brush, you guys don't laugh, but it was taking me literally like 3 to 4 hours. Now, let me just say, when you're a beginner, obviously it's trial and error. You know, you're gonna get faster as time goes with applying nail tips, with applying your acrylic powder, all of that good stuff. So it has made me progress as a self-taught nail tech. I'm not licensed yet, you guys. So I'm just a self-taught nail tech, and I learned everything that I've learned on my own. I am going to be going to school for doing nails very soon. I'm just kind of waiting until this COVID pandemic stuff is kind of over with, because I know the school that I was wanting to go to, they're not really opening up their online, or not their online, but their classrooms yet. So yeah, so I was using this brush, and I'm sorry you guys if I sound like I'm totally out of breath. I'm actually just trying to like hurry up and talk, but I'm not trying to hurry up and talk, if that makes sense. But yeah, so I was using this brush, and it was taking me like a long time to do nails. Like I said, it would take me, I would say, between like 3.5 to 4 hours when I very first started off doing nails. Obviously, with your brush that you're using, it's going to make a huge difference in the quality of your work, the quality of your time as well, because with the bigger brush, you are able to pick up a lot more acrylic. Like, your beads are going to be a lot larger than if you were to use a very smaller brush where the beads aren't as big, and they're not going to be as movable, if that makes sense, you guys. Like, when I say movable, I mean like once you go and you apply your acrylic, and then you go to apply it, like say you apply it towards the middle, towards the end, and you are looking to get the acrylic to smooth down the nail, to cover the bottom half of your nail, it's not going to do that as well as if you are applying a bigger brush with that can pick up a lot more acrylic and monomer, or soak up a lot more monomer. So I hope that makes sense, you guys. I kind of suck at explaining things. I'm kind of new to this, so this is my first video about just nail related. So I hope that makes sense. This will save you a lot more time. Trust me. I literally started from the bottom, you guys, and now I'm here. Okay, shout out to Drake. No, I'm just playing, but yeah, you get what I'm saying. So the size 10 one is what I use right now. The purpose of this quick video, I don't want to make this video too long, you guys. So I just wanted to record how I crimped my brush. Now, like I said, I didn't record that part because I was actually a little nervous on if my brush was going to come out perfect or not, or if it was going to mess up, because I've never done this before, you guys. But I'm here to tell you what you would need is just any type of pliers, you guys. Any type of pliers will work. My brother actually let me borrow these because I did not have any on hand, but you can go out and, purchase some. I do believe that they have some at the dollar store as well, probably even the Dollar Tree, just to save, some money. So yeah, so what I actually did, I'm going to try to explain this as best as I can. Let me try to zoom out a little bit. Okay. So I apologize, you guys, if I hit the ring light and if it moves, because I have my camera like right in the middle of my desk, and it's kind of hard to record and maneuver. So yeah. So anyways, you guys, all you're gonna do is, okay, let's see. And the bristles on this, you guys, I've been using this for quite some time, and I haven't had any terrible fallout at all. If anything, it's like maybe like 2 to 3 bristles that will come out every now and then. But to be honest, you guys, I haven't had any issue with it drying out, with me cleaning it, anything like that. And this is an honest truth review on this brush. I actually really love this brush. I've seen many nail techs here on YouTube use this brush as well. So yeah, it's a really good brush. So what you're gonna do is you want to make enough space in between. I hope the camera is picking this up, you guys. I apologize for the angle if it's terrible. So what you're gonna do is you're going to place your pliers, my bad, you guys. You're gonna place your pliers in between, like right in the middle. I hope it is picking up. Right in the middle of the nail brush, but not too far back. You don't want it too far back. You want it right in the very beginning towards the middle of the brush. And then you want to slowly just crimp, but like hold down a little bit. So you would be squeezing obviously the yellow parts of the tool. And then you're just gonna slowly go down and then barely go down, and then your brush should be flattened out just like this. As you guys can see, let me see if it'll focus for you guys real quick. Let's see if we can get it to focus. It's not wanting to focus too well, you guys. I'm trying to let it focus so you guys can see. I'm sure you guys can somewhat see it, but yeah, so this is what it'll look like after it's crimped. It'll show those little bitty, you know, ripples, those little lines on the brush. And like I said, you barely want to press down. Once you press down just a little bit, it's instantly gonna make a huge difference in what your brush looks like. So the brush, when I very first got this, it did not come crimped. So I just recently, I'm like, man, I wanted to order the Alpha brush, you guys. But to be honest, their brushes have went up as far as pricing, and I already have this brush. It works very well for me. So I'm like Googling videos on how to crimp your brush at home. And I found that this will be really helpful for you guys, for my subscribers, or anybody that's just looking to see how to crimp, you know, your nail brush. It's very, very, very important because it's gonna make your process a lot smoother. When I very first got this brush, all the bristles would come like up to an angle. I don't know if that makes sense or if I'm explaining that correctly, but it would all come up to an angle. So kind of like when I dip my brush into monomer, it would all be like all of the bristles would be so narrow, kind of like all bunched up in a ball, if that makes sense. And I would kind of have troubles applying my beads. Not all the time, but sometimes. Sometimes it would be flat, kind of like how this one is. And sometimes it would all like kind of just clump together, like the bristles would clump together at the very tip of the brush, to where it wouldn't be as flat, to where I'm able to apply my acrylic as smoothly as I need it to be. So I hope that makes sense, you guys. I don't know if anybody else has had this problem with their brushes, but I wanted to make this video because I feel like it would help quite a lot, especially if you're struggling just on time, applying your acrylic smoothly onto the nail. So yeah, I feel like this will be very, very helpful, especially if you are having that trouble like I was. So after I crimped this, I literally just crimped this, you guys, shortly before I recorded this video. I was like, let me hurry up and just record, you know, on how I did this. Now I know, I'm sorry you guys, I know I didn't like show on how I crimped it just because I was kind of nervous on how it would come out, but it came out really, really good. I don't know if it'll focus now, but yeah, my brush is a lot flatter. So I'm very eager and excited to see how it applies acrylic. So what I'm going to do, you guys, I wanted to record that short little quick intro for you guys to just show you how I crimped my brush at home. You can do this at home. Like I said, all you need is pliers and your nail brush and you're in the game. It's gonna make a total difference. So what I'm gonna do in this video, I will record me doing a full set. Well, I'm gonna do a full set, but I'm only gonna do one hand, you guys, just because I don't want this video to be too long. I'm pretty sure I could probably speed it up, but I kind of want to save me doing all of my hands for another video. So here's a really quick clip, you guys, of me shaping my nails. This is how they turned out. And now we're just getting straight into the acrylic application. So if you guys want to follow along, you can skip through it if you want to. This is in real time. I didn't want to speed it up because I just wanted to show you guys kind of like the process on how I do my acrylic application. I am still a beginner, you guys, so this isn't going to be absolutely perfect, but I did want to go ahead and just walk you guys through the process. So go ahead, sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, grab your book, whatever, and you can just follow along and just see how I applied this acrylic application. All right, you guys, so I wanted to explain kind of like what I'm doing. I didn't really want to just leave you guys hanging and not explain what I'm doing in this video. So as of right now, how I'm applying my acrylic application, I felt will be a lot helpful for especially people out there that are still struggling on how to kind of get a form / routine down when they apply their acrylic application, because if you are still starting out, you may notice that you don't really have a set way of how you apply your acrylic, and so sometimes that can result in your acrylic application being either too runny, too thin, too thick, or too bumpy and lumpy. Now let me just say, you guys, I am still a beginner. As said in my previous nail video, when I did my first at-home nail video, this was like months back, and I was still like in the process of learning and practicing and trying to find ways that would be better for me whenever I would go in and apply my acrylic. So back then it was a little bit hard for me. I've been doing nails, you guys, for about almost a year, like I had said, and I'm still struggling in some things. I've gotten a lot better, I will say, and I have developed a routine. So whenever I do go to do either my nails or someone else's nails, I kind of already have like a method, a routine of how, like, step by step on how I would apply my acrylic. It just makes it a little bit easier, and it makes it to where you have like a guide to go by, if that makes sense. I hope I'm explaining that correctly, or I hope you guys understand exactly what I'm saying. So normally the way I would apply my acrylic, and this may not work for everybody, but I do just like to share my advice that I would give like a beginner nail tech, or if you're self-taught, you're just wanting to do nails at home, you're kind of looking to see what may work for you. So obviously everybody has their own way of applying acrylic. Everybody's acrylic application, whether it's a beginner nail tech or an advanced nail tech, is not going to all be the same, because I feel like every nail artist has to see what works for them. One thing that I could say that is going to help you or the other person, or me even, for instance, is I had a lot of trouble with comparing my work to other nail techs' work. Now, that right there is going to kind of get you to where, like, you're thinking, like, okay, I have to have my nails turn out just like this nail tech's. Or my acrylic application has to be just like hers, or you know what I mean? So what I'm trying to explain it the best that I can, you guys. I hope I'm not just like rambling too much, but I wanted to explain this because I don't feel like it gets explained a lot in the nail world. Obviously there's going to be many techniques that you can learn from, but only you're going to develop how you want to develop, and that may not be the work of a expert's work, if that makes sense. So you're going to need to develop a routine whenever you do go to do nails, or just practicing if you have a practice hand, that you want to practice on. Your work shouldn't be compared to another nail tech's work. And I'm just speaking. Sorry, you guys. I'm trying to like talk too fast, so I apologize if my words are kind of like running together. But your work is not going to be, it shouldn't be compared to another nail tech's work, or you shouldn't try to compare yourself to another nail tech's work, because to me, honestly, I've done that for a couple months. I did used to do that, and to be honest, I feel like when I do that, I try to, I guess, like manipulate their work, like try to do the exact same method, the exact same how they apply their beads, etc. And then I'm like either unsatisfied or I'm not as confident, and my work doesn't turn out just like theirs, if that makes sense. So normally what I have started to do is just doing what works for me. Do what works for you. If two bead method works for you, their 2-ball or 2-bead method works for you, or if 1 bead works for you and you can get your application smooth, whatever the case, what works for you may not work for others. And so you just want to take that into consideration, especially when you're still learning, or, it's always great to have, nail techs that are a little bit advanced, from you, to obviously give you a little insight, give you some guidance. And, the nail techs, the teachers and stuff, that help, with applying acrylic application. Obviously, that is going to be key, obviously to learning, but what works for you works for you. So let me just say on how I apply my acrylic from the beginning, when I first started, I was just kind of all over the place. I didn't really have a guide. I didn't really have a flow on how I applied my acrylic. So sometimes it would come out lumpy, it would be uneven, it would be too flat or too thick. Obviously, beginning nail techs, you're gonna go through that. It's trial and error. You're gonna go through that. But like I said, you have to see what works for you. So I'm just kind of telling you guys kind of like what works for me, and hope that this works for you. That way you can take my advice and, at least put it to the test to see if it does work for you. So normally when I start out doing nails now anyway, within the past couple months, I have developed a routine that I have down. So whenever I'm practicing on myself, or if I am doing a client's nails, then I will follow the same routine every time. Not only to get faster, but to also just have a routine down. That way I'm not all over the place. So normally when I go in with the first bead, I will go in with the first bead, the largest bead, not too large, but the largest bead. I will place it in the middle of the nail. This is going to be your first bead that you'll start off with. It's called the 3-bead method, and most nail techs, most beginners still use it. So like I said, if it works for you, it works for you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But hopefully this helps me sharing this with you guys. So normally the best way to explain it is to apply your first bead towards the middle, towards where the tip meets and the natural nail meets, and kind of like where you blend the fake nail. You want to apply your first bead, which is going to be the biggest bead, in the middle, and then you want to slowly work down. You don't want to drag the acrylic down, because I have made that mistake of doing that. It makes the nail flat and it doesn't cover the nail like as smooth, and then you end up getting those bumps and lumps. So you want to kind of just slowly pat your acrylic downwards as you are working, and then that will give you the coverage and the pigment that you need in that first layer. The second bead is going to be like your medium to small size bead, kind of towards more so like the medium size. You want to place that bead right directly above the first bead that you just placed. And that is going to build your apex. So your apex, obviously, you don't want to be too flat, and you don't want it to be too bulky or thick either. And you don't want that part to flood the cuticle or flood over the nail, because that does happen. Sometimes, you know, it's kind of out of our control, but you can at least try to, you know, wipe off the sides and try to pat it in, you know, a direction to where the acrylic won't seep over. Now, just a really quick backup before I was trying to explain that. So you don't want your acrylic to be too runny, and you don't want it to be too hard. The reason being is because if you have a acrylic bead that is too hard and, well, too dry, and it's not enough liquid in your brush, it's going to be very hard to move the acrylic, and then eventually it's just going to end up drying up on you, and you're not going to be able to move it, and then you're going to end up having that separation with the acrylic. You'll be able to see, okay, this is where the acrylic stopped, and you're not going to be able to see a smooth transition into, you know, one bead from the next. So whenever you go in, you want to make sure to pick up the right amount of liquid. If anything, what I would suggest is make sure that you have a lot of liquid in your brush, not to where it's dripping, but at least to where, especially if you're using like a size 10 or 12 brush, you want to make sure that your acrylic brush has a lot of monomer in it. That way, when you do go to apply the bead, you can at least, if it's too wet, if you feel like it's too wet, you can just dab it on the paper towel and then go into, you know, working. So the next bead will be the cuticle bead, and that bead is going to be your last bead. Now, normally, I'm not going to say that this will be your completely last bead, because you may have to go in, you know, later and apply 1 or 2 beads, you know, small beads later if, you know, you need to. But this is going to be like your last bead. So you want to make sure that this bead is kind of a little bit smaller than the second bead. I know I'm kind of going all over the place, but I hope you guys kind of understand what I'm saying. It's kind of hard to explain, but I'm trying to explain it the best way possible that I know how. I am still a beginner, so I am still new at this, you guys. I'm sorry, somebody was calling me, so I interrupted my voiceover. I apologize. But yes, so I'm still a beginner. I'm still learning. If you're still a beginner, we are all learning together. We are all trying to get this through together. Doing nails, it is very calming and it's very enjoyable, but it is a little difficult, and it's not something that you can just learn overnight. For me, like, honestly speaking, this was not something that I learned overnight. It did take me a while to get. I'm still learning to this day. Like I said, I've only been doing nails for almost a year, and I am still learning. It is very much trial and error, and you are going to have those sets where you do really good on those sets. You are going to have those sets to where you're just like, I don't like this set, like I want to do it over. And honestly, you guys, practicing, being consistent, you know, practicing on a family member, practicing on your friend, that is going to help you a lot, especially getting your routine down, and just getting a flow down. Because when I first started, I wasn't doing clients or anything. I wasn't doing family members yet. And then eventually, obviously, once I started to get a little bit more better, then I would start to practice on other people. And I can actually say that this is definitely what helped me a lot just come to where I am today. If you guys haven't seen my previous video of me doing nails, I do have a nail video, the very first nail video that I uploaded on my channel. And that's when I really was like first starting off. And yeah, so if you can see where I was at then and now, you can totally see a huge difference. Now, like I said, you guys, I am not perfect. Some of my sets, you know, most of them come out good, but I'm still striving to be better and still striving to work harder. but being sufficient in my work and being confident in my work. And, you know, obviously, you know, it takes practice and it takes dedication for you to, you know, get this down. So it's not easy, you guys. This is something that you know, have to master and learn, but you'll get it. I just wanted to show you guys how, you know, obviously I applied my acrylic application and give you guys some insight to help you guys, because I know I'm probably not the only person out there struggling. I don't really come across a lot of videos that, you know, really help me as much. So I hope this video will help you guys. Just go ahead and finish watching all. We'll stop talking. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe if you guys like this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.